All right, we're into the last day, the final stretch, the best panel of the day. Yeah? Y'all ready for this? All right, so let's bring on our guests. Come on up, guys. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and what they do, and then we're going to get into it, okay? Sound good? Give them a hand. Brilliant. All right, starting to my left, tell them who you are, what you do, and why we should listen to you.
Do I have to turn it on? Oh, here we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy Krause. I just want to say a huge thanks to Ash and the team who have put on an amazing show. It's come so far, and I was just saying to him this morning that the energy and the vibe is friggin' unreal. Like, even though half the people I spoke to last night were probably drunk, it was still the energy and the vibe that's coming from e-commerce and this world is pretty phenomenal. So, okay, my name's Jeremy Krause. I'm the Chief of Innovation and Disruption at a company called Global Retail Brands. Global Retail Brands, you probably know, owns the House Group, which is Australia's #1 homewares, kitchenware, cookware retailer. We like to call ourselves a bit of a category killer in that we have over 270 stores and we have about 9 different e-commerce channels. But also within the group, Global Retail Brands owns Robin's Kitchen, My House, which is a linen business, and also House Bed and Bath, which is in that whole bedding linen market, as well as Pet House, and recently a project that I'm very near and dear to is called The Custom Chef, which is all about personalization, and it's going to be part of the conversation today about building a really cool cult following, which is, I think, part of the topic today.
Yep.
So, and thank you for having me.
Is mine on? Yes. Hi everyone, I am Ellen Powell. I'm the CEO and founder of The Somewhere Co, which I know some of you in this room have definitely got our products, and my beautiful marketing team have clearly gate crashed this coffee table. But we sell lunch bags, picnic wear, baby wear, lifestyle products for the modern woman. And yeah, we've been around a short time, but in business a long time. We're in Brisbane and we make bold, beautiful things.
Hi everyone, my name's Lizzie and I am the founder of NeoPro, which is a cycling clothing company. We sell 100% online all over the world. So I was wondering if there's any cyclists or people that like to ride bikes in the room. Woohoo, a few, cool, welcome. We do things a little bit differently at NeoPro. We make cool, comfortable, quality kit that doesn't break the bank. So that's our point of difference, and that's where our following has come from.
Okay, so we're talking about creating a cult following. So you guys, I'm guessing, have created cult followings. But give me the definition to you of what a cult following is. We'll start on the end. Come on, Lizzie.
Our definition of a cult following is our NeoPro community, or our family, which is our customers, and they are the ones that have created the cult following that we have. We all have a common interest and we all share the same story. The reason why NeoPro is around is the same reason why people buy our products and why they love them, and they are our greatest voice out in the world.
And I think that's a very important thing, where you're kind of the leader, but do you create it or do they kind of create and drive the engagement also?
Yeah, definitely. The hype, we can create part of that hype, but then the snowball effect, or what we like to call the Peloton effect, happens from them, and we really feed off their feedback and love for it. So yeah, definitely two-way.
I'm a Peloton guy.
You're a Peloton guy.
Mm-hmm. So lockdown hit. I need to get some of your gear though, because my ass gets really sore from sitting on the bike.
Yeah, the padded shorts are for a reason.
Yeah, can you give a bit of a plug of the padded? Like, is there a material or?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
go.
It helps. It's a chamois that stops you from being sore when you ride, which is why we all wear it and look crazy on our bikes.
But Peloton became a phenomenon during lockdown. I'm from Melbourne, so yes, you can feel sorry for us because the lockdown was hard, but Peloton did help, in terms of gamification, but also just getting into the cycling world and how I'm not a crazy road, so I don't even go on the road. I'm too probably scared, but Peloton and getting involved in the gear and the energy and the team, and I think has created a cult following, apart from the Sex and the City issue. But
There's a couple of those now.
yeah.
Right?
So again, yeah, I think it's growing, and it's also that health and mental wellness as well, which I think is really important too.
Helen, how about yourself? How are you getting people engaged with lunch? I mean, these are amazing designs. And where is it, like, what's the cult following around that?
Oh, look, it's funny. We just listened to a talk before about being an overnight success. We are a 9-year overnight success. I think the cult following starts from when I started the business. So, people, customers, and new customers are continually educated as well. They have followed the journey from day dot. So the OG fans out there have been around since Blushing Confetti, which was my old brand name. And, they've gone on the journey with me. So they've seen the highs, they've seen the lows, they've seen me on social, they've seen me, trying real hard at trade shows. And, we're now at a point of growth where we've been able to build this amazing community around us and create beautiful products and continue to expand that range. So that cult following is just, I guess, it starts with our team also. We have a team who is our customer. And they just want to be a part of what we're doing. So, and we like the same thing. So, yeah, they're just us, I guess.
So, I mean, you're kind of hinting at that you kind of were a personal brand first. And people would find your content, and it was really just about how you were building the business. So how do you move from, okay, this is me, I'm the personal brand, to now being a corporate brand and somebody else is actually driving that engagement?
Yeah, definitely. That has been a journey, and for us, quite a rapid one. We had a team of three years ago, and now we have 40. So that has been my job, to essentially make sure that our messaging and our branding is on point across everything. Really clear onboarding with our team, who we're about, what our message is. Right down to anyone in the warehouse, anyone in the store, everyone knows our story and our product, and everyone that's coming on, they're speaking to everyone else that's coming on. So yes, it has definitely been a journey. I still have my fingers in all the pies. I'm not quite out of everything. I still get down in the trenches and doing everything. So my presence is still very much felt. So I'm not quite out. But yeah, no, it's just continual discussions with the team. But scaling authentically, yeah, it's really hard because it's not my face on there. Not that I really want my face on there all the time, but I'll show up and our team shows up, and we are now one team that is on our social channels or in our emails. It's not just all about me. Yes, I am part of the story, the original story, but it is very much our team.
Awesome. All right. My man Jeremy, how do you interrupt?
Interrupt and disrupt.
And disrupt.
Yeah. I think what you just mentioned was really important from what we look at, which is the authenticity. I think cult is a scary word. It's like, you think about somewhere in America, there's a cult that's just planning and about to kind of go on a rampage, right? But
in America?
I don't know, I just used America, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was Russia, but okay.
All right.
It's like, no, I'm teasing.
I don't know why I said America. Anyway, I think from a cult side of things, it has this perception of a group of crazies, right? And I think what I'm trying to do is within a lot of our brands where the house brand itself has been around in Australia for a very long time, and we've built up a very strong database and a loyal customer, and we're learning more and more about it all the time. But what we've kind of done through that is then pushed into this world of the custom chef, which is all about customization and personalization, but getting the authenticity, which I think is a big thing. You've got to be authentic, I think, with the brand, whether it's content, whether it's the reality of what you're doing and the products you're selling, and how it actually not to sound stupid, but it's how to make a difference for your life. You know, we're in the cooking kitchenware in the home space. So how does it change your life? You know, and you know, during COVID, it was very important to have the products to cook with, and it did change lives. It did bring people together. You know, it's a major part of your life. And so now this custom chef piece that we're doing, which is where you can put your name on a knife or monogram, and we have a license with the AFL and we have a license with Game of Thrones, and we're pushing really hard into the US as well, is about creating that authentic user-generated content I think someone was talking about that kind of sells the story for you, rather than let's go spend millions on Google AdWords, or you know, let's get authentic influencer ambassador content that can drive it from the ground up, and then it starts creating a following, and we're kind of seeing that now as well.
What's the difference between brand loyalty and a cult following? Is there a difference?
I do think they go hand in hand, but the cult following, they drive it. So they are your voice as well. They are your biggest supporters. They are the ones that will give you the feedback where you can, you know, produce your next design from the information they give you. They're the eyes and ears on the ground, I think, more so than just the loyalty. It's the voice.
So all you guys, I mean, what is the, you know, like, what's the major KPI that you're looking at to know that this is actually translating into top line sales and bottom line profits?
I think for us, it's something, everyone works so hard to get people on the front end to buy, and we're working really hard as an overall business across our network to keep them as well, because we spend so much and then they're falling off the back of the bus kind of a thing, and we need to keep them there and engaged, and that's through you know, personalized content, something that's relevant to you, so we understand the customer and value them as a customer, because they're choosing to come and buy from your physical store, or they're coming online. So how do we reward them and keep them inside your world, but continually innovating with new things so they don't just drop off? And I think it's hard. It's not an easy thing to do, but that's what we're trying to do to keep them engaged as well. And content helps, obviously.
What platform should I be on?
Oh, look, I think that depends on your brand, but if you are, I guess, in e-com, lifestyle fashion, you obviously have to be on Instagram, you know, TikTok, Pinterest now with ads, all these, and YouTube. You're expected to be accessible in different ways across many different channels. I don't think there's one answer, but definitely your social media is key.
Yeah, how big are your guys' teams? How many people are like in your organization that are actually dedicated to the social and brand engagement?
There's me and my husband Nick sitting over there, and we are NeoPro, and then we have a staff member that does help with the ads, but all of the social engagement, all of the accessibility, all of the communications is us. We have a small customer service team of 5 people that help with the really generic volume customer service queries, but every customer has my email address. All of the social media posts, all of the comment replies, all of the DM replies is me.
Wow. So how much time would you say you spend in a day on this part?
50% of every day, because that's how important the customers are and their voice and the following, and that's how we've grown so much, is the accessibility that they have to, you know, you can have a product and try and create a cult following or a hype around a product, but it's more than just the product. What else is there other than that? And it's the story behind it, it's the people behind it, the person, something that's relatable, other than just the physical product itself.
I'm curious to know how many now for you.
Well, we have about 20, not necessarily just on our branding and marketing side. There's about 5 or 6 specifically in marketing. But obviously we're a very creative-led brand. You know, that's why our product is really so bright and beautiful prints. So our product team comes into that. So there's about 20 of us that are working day in and day out to bring the products that are here. And then obviously we have our warehouse crew and our retail stores as well. We have brick and mortar. So yeah, about 20 of us in HQ working away in delivering the message that we bring out each day. We also work with multiple agencies as well, just to keep things, keeping up to date with everything that's going on in the world. And yeah, so that's us.
So cyclists are like passionate about
Very,
cycling, right?
very,
I mean, you're tapping into a passion that already exists. I'm not, I don't carry a bag, right? But I'm sure there's passion there. But how do you translate these into making people like really get engaged with the brand and be passionate about your bags?
Good question. I think that really starts by having a product that people actually want. So I think a lot of businesses are launched and people thinking, oh, yes, I can make anything work. Even with the strongest brand, you cannot always make something work that if it's not there, not a need. So when we started with lunch bags a few years ago, there's no beautiful lunch bags. You could go get some like crap ones, from Kmart. Also sorry, Kmart. But not sorry. And so, we brought out a unique offering and we've added to that. We now have a shoulder strap, so it makes it easy to carry in. We've expanded the product range, so they might come in and be like, cute lunch bag. Oh, that's cute rug. I can't get a rug anywhere. When we launched rugs, there was no really nice rugs out there. There might be like a couple of brands here and there throughout the world, but, and that obviously increases as we get out there, get our message out there. There's more competitors that come along. But I think that really starts with just bringing a product to the market. It might be niche, but just something that people want in the beginning. And then, then we create the hype, and then we talk about what we're packing in our lunch, and then we match it with our outfits. And that comes secondary to having a product that.
So fashion is part of that passion for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
We definitely
you're
play in
tapping.
the fashion game.
Yeah. Jeremy's trying to open. While you're opening, Jeremy, tell me how big your team is.
Oh, that's so cool. So
For
could
all
I wear
these
this
brands.
For lunch to the office?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, everyone.
It's insulated.
That's insane.
And it fits a
It's
lot of stuff.
insulated.
Did you expect that?
Yes.
Oh, you did.
No, it was a surprise. It was a
It's
surprise.
got a shoulder thing where you could bring it, have the work bag on the other side.
So if you're scooting into work,
Yeah.
just throw it over.
Or
So
you're
you're
riding
feeling
onto
the
the
passion.
tram.
You're feeling
or
it.
you're on a scooter in Melbourne, because we've got the new scooters. Have you seen them? No? We've got the scooters. No? Okay. Lime scooters. There you go.
Oh,
Thank you, someone.
Yeah, we launched those, and now we're sick of them.
I know.
They're all over the streets, but in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But tell me, how big is your
big's
team?
our team? Okay, so social-wise, there's 3 dedicated. So we've got, I think there's 9 different e-commerce channels, and each channel has 4 different social platforms, key social: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and we've now started going more into TikTok as well. We find majority of our audience is Facebook, Instagram, but what's really interesting, a lot of our internal teams at head office are on Pinterest, and they're doing a lot of mood board design, getting lots of inspiration. I think Pinterest, I'm not pitching for Pinterest, but there's a lot of opportunity in that space, and it's very underdone from a cost perspective, so it's not expensive to kind of make some dollars on Pinterest as well. And then I've been trying to get into more Snapchat with lenses and filters. I think my kids are on it, so I'm like, we have to do something cool and fun there. But we've got 2 or 3 dedicated to social, which is posting, community engagement. We have it integrated with Zendesk into our customer service, because there's so much inquiry and just random messaging that's hitting all the direct messaging platforms. But then from a content perspective, we built a media team in-house. I used to be in digital and also video production. So from content sells, content is king. I always say, if you've got a good story, you've got to sell it. So how do you let people know? So we've created a content studio in-house, literally with kitchens and green screen and stuff like that. And we're creating content so we can, not only do static photos and imagery, but also video production for all our reels and stuff like that. So all up, there's probably about 10 to 15 plus freelance and agency.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. A lot of brands, a lot of interaction, and a lot of comments you have to deal with.
Lots. But it's also fun and engaging as well. And the CEO founder looks at everything, which is just, there's nothing that goes unturned. Like there's one image, but it's trying to keep the brands on the mark and the messaging and the copy and the logo. Like that stuff is so important because slowly it can start to dip and then you don't see it till like 12 months later and go, oh my God, we were here and now we're there and it's completely different. So that's a challenge as we kind of, as you scale and as you grow, you kind of have to think about that too.
Cool. So we're going to take some questions from the audience. If you actually have one, just wave me down and we'll be happy to, if you just scream it out, we'll ask them. Anyone? Oh, now you're going to get a
question.
freebie
That was
right
fast.
there. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. How do you, I guess, keep negativity at bay when it comes to
How do you keep negativity at bay when people say negative things?
or maybe how do you deal with negative comments?
Yeah.
Yep, I can go.
You go. And then I go.
Yeah, this is something that I'm going to pat ourselves on the back. Please no one go write negative comments about our brand after here. As we have grown, I think the authenticity factor in our brand and being really honest with things are going wrong. Like I will show up with no makeup and my hair barely done, sometimes on social, not often, and just be like, guys, this is what's going on. I'm really sorry. It's out of our hands. We've gone through COVID. We've just gone through floods. We're not going to come back to your requests necessarily within 24 hours. Things happen. So think by us just showing up really openly and honestly from the get-go rather than trying to combat afterwards, that's key. So you would have heard on some of the other talks during this event that making sure you're sending emails out with your shipping notifications saying there's going to be a delay. And then also, if you might get some heat on Facebook, we sometimes get some comments about random things, making sure you go back. Do not leave something unanswered. That person just really wants to be heard. And I guess they want a solution. So yeah, I think twofold, trying to get it before it gets to that point. Don't ever leave something too long. And yeah, just being really honest, and you're human, we're all humans. And if someone wants to, take that further, then that's on them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, super interesting because the internet allows everyone to have an opinion and put it out there. We do the same thing if something's going wrong or going right, we'll communicate about it and being very conscious that not everyone checks their email, so we also have to communicate the same thing via stories, posts, on different media platforms, encourage other people to share the information with their friends if they don't know. And also responding, if you're responding to the negative comments with some factual information, you can definitely do so, but also remembering to respond to the positive comments and putting as much energy behind responding to them. I do see sometimes on, if it was Google reviews of other companies, only the negative feedback has been responded to. It's very, very important to respond to all of it with the same type of passion and energy, facts, figures, or, whatever you need to, but also having a line in the sand where you will not put up with social media bullying, and you don't have to, and being very, very clear and consistent with the responses that you give, or when you won't respond, because like one of the talks, negative energy spreads very quickly, so positive energy is what we need to spread more, so we spend a lot of time trying to turn anything negative into a positive somehow as well.
Yeah, I just want to dovetail on all of that too, is that you want to think about not the person that said something negative. You want to think about the audience of thousands, tens of thousands that are actually waiting to see what you say. So you're not responding really back to that one person. You're responding for the others so you can turn it from negative into positive. And then if it just keeps spiraling out of control, you definitely want to take it offline. And I love what you said about people wanting to just be heard. They just want to acknowledge that I had an issue.
What we're also trying to do, we're trying to organize automation and technology tools to help, because we get a lot on every channel, and it's really difficult to get to every single one. But we're trying to put in processes, not to make it like a robot. We want to humanize it as well. But what we've also started talking about internally is actually getting all those people who are negative into a positive, and then they become an ambassador because you so surprise and delight them, rather than, I think I've got this adage of kill people with kindness. You know, like, we are wrong, like we did stuff up. Like, yeah, I mean, during COVID, deliveries were a mess. Like, you know, courier companies, freight, Australia Post was like 3-week delay, and there's people waiting. Like, so we're kind of, how can we reward? How can we get you back into the system in terms of loyalty, reward, coupon? And then now face-to-face, we're trying to bring people back into like a VIP night, hilariously, into like one of our stores, and say, come back in, and, you know, we want to share the love. And I think you got to face it, like you said, head on. You don't hide it. Don't hide the feed. Don't hide the comments at certain points, because, you know, I know one company that did hide. They had over 1 million fans on Facebook or Instagram, I think, and the comments just spiraled out of control. So they just shut down the comments feed, and then that just went. They just hit. It was like a wave. They went from one social platform to another, and that was the worst thing ever. So I think you kind of, similar to what you said, you've got to face it and also, you know, own up to it as well, rather than say it's not my fault, kind of a thing.
And I just want to add, I guess, to that, there's a saying in our business, like doing the wrong thing for the right reason. We obviously have customer service in multiple channels, both in the store and online, and there's not one answer for everyone. Sometimes the customer can be quite difficult, and is it really worth the pain of that person potentially going and then telling their friends and having a negative experience? Like, sometimes you bend the rules a little bit. There is a line in the sand for sure, just to make sure that there is some element of customer happiness, even though that person may not deserve it.
Definitely, and I think a lot of people can come in to, you know, the comment or the feedback, like the customers, sort of already in a fight mode, because they expect to have to fight to get a reasonable response, and when they get a reasonable response or a genuine response up front, that falls away straight away, and then you do get a positive outcome from something that might seem like it's going to be a big blow up. It actually isn't. They just have expected it from previous experiences, you know, throughout their buying life cycle.
Brilliant. We have a question over here.
So I know you obviously all use a number of different social platforms. Do you find that you can get success with just continuity of content across all of them, or you really have to tailor, whether it's video or image or user-generated, per platform? Is there a lot of work in kind of differentiating, or are you take more of a overall approach with your content?
So content across multiple channels. Are you making unique content for unique channels, or are you seeing success being able to put stuff across multiple platforms?
Yeah, great question. I think from a cost perspective, we're trying to shoot, for example, content that is then used on all different platforms. But the type of content that's used, for example, Reels versus a feed post, is different lengths. So how do you then cut up something with a different track to it and so forth? So we try lots of different things. Like, we went crazy on just doing heaps of user-generated content, and that was amazing because we're not creating it, it's there, and we're sharing it. But then now we're shooting content that's for Square and then portrait, and then it's shorter, longer, but then also a different style that's a bit more, you know, it depends on your audience, of course, but, you know, Facebook versus Instagram, we're more lifestyle on Instagram. Facebook, you can create longer content that sits there for longer, and also is maybe a cooking piece for 4 or 5 minutes, can get away with it on Facebook, but not on Instagram. And then you've got stories. You kind of, I think we're trying to work on some technology tools that can convert files into different size formats, so we're not spending a lot of time on cutting and cropping. It's happening automatically. And then you just got to keep refining it to where your audience is kind of looking, I think, as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think resourcing is always going to come into it. So it's how much time you have. We definitely use content across all channels, but we'll likewise shoot. When you're shooting it, you're planning for it. There's certain content that can't go across every single thing, but for example, our TikTok content, we will try utilize for Facebook ads, not necessarily for our Instagram feed, sometimes for our Instagram stories. But yeah, there's definitely some differences between the channels. YouTube is a new one we're about to really start kicking off with. That is a lot more informative and educational and longer format, and you have to shoot that in a different way. So there's definitely quick and easy ways to share across all channels, but ultimately, as you scale, you do need to think of how you're communicating with your audience.
Anybody on this side? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any ways of directly speaking to your cult following as a whole? Like, do you have community groups? Do you have group messaging in a way that you can ask them as a whole and get feedback as a whole, as opposed to just direct messaging with the customer?
Yeah, we do. We have a Facebook community, and that is where we communicate a lot. We ask a lot of questions. We get a lot of feedback on there. People give feedback to each other. That's where we'll get a lot of important information around the sort of responses we're getting to posts that we put in there and questions that we ask. So that is the main way and the easiest way to get to a lot of people in a short period of time. And they're really those cult followers that are in there as well. So the ones that have a loud voice that will influence the other customers that are not yet in that sort of cult following phase.
Have you actually engaged somebody in your community to help you run the community?
No, because they just do it.
They just do it,
the,
okay.
The amount of customers that comment on each other's posts and love the combination of clothing that they're wearing, that end up following each other on Instagram, that end up randomly meeting in real life because they both live in the same city and organise a ride is crazy. So they sort of fuel it themselves. I would say that it's not, we don't have millions of followers or millions of people in that community, so not at this stage. But yeah, we do have like the top fans that will comment on everything and really help out with answers before we get there.
Cool. Yes, sir.
So we've talked about cult followers who love and appreciate your brand. Have you encountered any mobs who are the naysayers to your brand, and how do you deal with that?
So any mobs, is that what you call them?
A mob?
Mobs and thugs that hate our brand. Have you ever encountered anything like that?
Always. Yes, we do. We encounter it all the time. I think it's similar to what we're saying about negative stuff. I think we kind of embrace it in terms of how do we take that feedback and that negativity and turn it into something good and then learn from it. And some really strong positive negative comments have helped our product and development teams to actually create new products, new ranges, some new creative and as a disruption piece within the business, we're trying to really do that across all the different divisions within the team to learn from the feedback. I think you just can't feed it in the wrong way. You got to feed it in the right way. And there's always going to be people, the evil eye's always watching. I should be wearing a red band. So from that side of things, it's just how you, like we said earlier, how you deal with it and have a professional way to deal with it rather than, being back at high school and starting a whole war.
Quick question on, for all of you. Just tell me, what are you using to help automate the process? What tool? Give me a tool that you're using right now.
Customer service?
For your social.
We have Gorgeous for customer service. It does integrate Facebook and Instagram, but we also just have the Facebook Business Center. And the joy of social media is we all have a phone, so I have access to all of it all the time. So that's still really the easiest way, but it does integrate into Gorgeous so that you could get a customer service team to reply to comments or reply to DMs and integrate it that way so that it can be
Gorgeous.
checked.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, we also use Gorgeous. It is an amazing platform, especially if you're getting lots of comments and across all your channels. It just brings it into one. Also your email, your customer service email. So it's great. In terms of automation for social, is that also what you wanted?
Yeah, that too.
Oh, we use Later a little bit, but just for our scheduling of our posts. But yeah, we're just on there all the time as well. We have our core creative and then, everything else we're doing.
Later as well, but we're also looking at a platform at the moment called Cloudinary, which helps optimize imagery and content that can get served online and then also export images out in all the formats that then integrates into all social platforms. Israeli-based crazy tech company. So.
And it's called which one?
Cloudinary.
Cloudinary. That's okay. Cool. Guys, I hope you got something out of this today. And can you please give a round of applause to our panelists? All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.